Hello. So my name is Alexandre Strzelewicz. That's how we pronounce my last name, Strzelewicz. I'm the CEO and founder of Keymetrics and PM2, a monitoring solution for Node.js that I talk about. So I will start by talking a bit more about what is Node.js. So Node.js is a server-side JavaScript runtime that's growing super fast. That's like it's been 8 years that the technology has been built, and we are already just today releasing the version 10. So it's growing very fast. It benefits from a lot of activity from the community, and there is like a growing ecosystem. It's a very great technology that has like great adoption. So with Node.js, the limit is your creativity. You're not blocked anymore by technical challenges because there are more than 700,000 modules already available that you don't need to rewrite yourselves. So basically, there are a lot of features that are already built, and you just take this from the NPM, Node Package Manager, and you build something bigger with all these components. It's also a great technology because it's very simple. JavaScript. It's based on the language JavaScript. 90% of developers in the world already know JavaScript. So it's very easy for them to be good at Node.js as they already have some background on this technology. It's also great in terms of agility. So when you are a startup and you want to deliver value very fast to your customer, to your users, you want to iterate very fast. With these modules, with this agility of JavaScript, you are able to deliver new features very fast and to try again, get your feedback from your user and so on. So just for example, PayPal just rewrote their Java backend, their Java frontal API in Node.js, and they wrote 33% fewer lines of code with 40% less files. And it's also a great advantage to use Node.js because you have one language for both backend and frontend. So there is like a lot of homogeneity, better communication between engineer team, and so on. But with this technology, there are new issues that appears. It behaves differently than other languages like Python, Java, or PHP, and so on, because it's asynchronous. It's mono-threaded. As there is like an event loop, sometimes, every time, JavaScript will only use one CPU in your server. In production servers, there are 32 cores. So that's not optimized by default to use all the resources available in the server. There is also lack of expert training. In Europe, in France, there is a lack of training to get very good at using this technology at scale. There is also production tooling that are missing. And one other technical things, memory leaks can be hard to find. So this technology is great with some difficulties and problems when you are reaching to production. And this is why we built PM2. So the PM2 company helps you adopt Node.js confidently with a full set of softwares and training. That's our goal. It's to make company be confident in using Node.js at scale. So for that, we have 3 solutions. We have the PM2 runtime. It's an open source, hardened Node.js runtime. It's open source, it's on GitHub. I will talk about this later. After, there is PM2 Plus. PM2 Plus is the PM2 runtime that is enhanced. You will have like much more like granular control of the lifecycle of your Node.js applications. And also there is a SaaS monitoring dashboard. So once your application scale across 1 to 100 servers, you need a monitoring dashboard. And we provide this, specialized for Node.js. And then we have the latest offer, PM2 Enterprise, that provide advanced profiling systems that we are the only one that have it. We have also training, certifications, and advanced custom features for industrial verticals. So how it works? Well, this is like a very simplistic schema. So basically, you have your container right now. You have your container. Let's say we are in Kubernetes and so on. You have your container, and you have like the node binary that will start your Node.js application, and your application will get started. Then with PM2, it's pretty easy. It's a built-in replacement. It's a drop-in replacement of the Node.js binary. So you just replace node by PM2-runtime, and you will have directly a lot of benefits from using this. First, you will have a second application that will act as a fallback. So if one application crashes, the other one will be able to continue to process the queries. After, there is also deep integration with Kubernetes. So basically, PM2 integrates so perfectly with your Node.js application, then we can understand when the application is ready to handle queries and when it's not healthy. So it tells to the load balancer of Kubernetes to not send any more requests to this container. And then there is this monitoring dashboard. Once you have this running on your Kubernetes cluster and so on, you need like a monitoring dashboard to be sure that everything is working properly. Every time you do a new deployment, you need to be sure that there is no more exception that appears, that there is no overuse of CPUs, memory, and so on. So let's zoom in this container. So by using PM2, you will get directly higher SLA. We do edge monitoring to auto-reload NLC process. I don't know if you are used with edge monitoring, but there is like this new thing in machine learning. It's to bring the algorithm straight to the machine. So if it works offline, it can directly, it can still behave and add some intelligence to it. We do the same thing for our monitoring. We have also deep integration to container orchestrator, as I said, Kubernetes, Docker, and so on. And we add this fallback process. Then you get instant insights. We are deeply integrated to the application. We can orchestrate your code and measure any external interactions with any kind of database, with any libraries like WebSockets. We can, just by using PM2, we will detect all this interaction and we will give you, like, for example, the number of queries per minute, the average latencies. It also deeply integrates to the V8 engine. For example, for profiling, for getting like low-level metrics like heap usage, code usage. And there is also event loop diagnosis. I'm so thirsty, 2 seconds. Yes, I had to rush to come here, sorry. So yes, event loop, the event loop. So as Node.js is mono-threaded, there is an event loop where there are more and more things that can be inside it. And sometimes the event loop can be overloaded and you need to know what's being retained in this event loop, why it's increasing, why the latency is increasing, and we can diagnose this. Then for bare metal, first PM2, when it was wrote 5 years ago, it was mainly for bare metal. And that's why we still have this feature that is very interesting for Raspberry, for bare metal servers. We have this intuitive CLI to manage your application, PM2 start, PM2 stop, PM2 reload, and so on, PM2 monitor. And we have also a feature that is pretty convenient because our goal is to make your application available 24/7, 24 on 24/7 per 7 days per week. And basically, we have this feature that is a startup script generator that will generate systemd script, initv, systemv, any kind of startup script. Thanks for the community because they made so many pull requests to make PM2 available in any kind of platform. So yeah, this is for in the container side. Then on the monitoring side, like the dashboard, I will not go deep into this, but we provide monitoring. With our solution, you can monitor, optimize, debug. So yeah, a lot of feature, monitor real time. We can track the CPU memory usage, HTTP latency, when the new version has been deployed, detect when a new version has been deployed, doing like some smart analysis of your code. We can detect interaction. You can get full visibility over Node.js and V8, optimize API calls with transaction tracing, and analyze memory with app dump. Like we deliver a complete tool for enterprise that use it at scale. So when an enterprise use Node.js at scale, they have sometimes issues that cannot be solved like that. So you need like a very deep, specialized tool to be able to understand every part of potential issues in this code. So just to skip pretty fast on the different features, we have this real-time builder view. So basically, with our dashboard, you will be able to see all the servers that run Node.js, all the servers, the containers. You can see all the application running on it, like every processes within the same interface. Also, we have this transaction tracing that we are currently rerouting to open tracing standard that detects slow API. So this feature allows you to detect slow API endpoints. So basically, sometimes, let's say you use Node.js for an e-commerce website, and if it takes like 5 seconds to add a product to your cart, it could be like difficult for them to after buy the product because they will get frustrated by the user experience. We detect these slow routes and we'll tell you what's happening exactly inside the routes, so you can fix the issue pretty fast. Then the most like simplest feature, I would say, it's to detect errors. So sometimes there is like an issue in your code, you haven't wrapped your code behind a try catch or stuff like that, and there is like an exception that triggers. So with our system, without changing anything, we can detect when there is an exception. And also something very interesting, thanks to the latest feature of Node.js since the V8, the version 8 of Node.js, we can retrieve the whole context that is surrounded by this exception. So let's say there is an exception happening in one of your routes, you will be able to detect the value of every variables that was like in the stack trace. So we give you a lot of context. We can see the line of code, the exception and stack trace. Also, we detect slow code, so you can profile straight in from production. You can just click on a button, and if let's say your application takes like 90% CPU, you will be able to detect this very easily with our solution PM2 Plus. You can then report any metrics. So we are currently working on a machine learning system. So the more custom metrics you will add in your code, the more your code will be predictable. So this is like smart probes. It's like you put like metrics everywhere in your code, and after you will be able to consult this value in real time, also in historical data. And there is also a machine learning algorithm that will detect when something like behaves weirdly and differently from previous deployment. And also, yeah, we have this custom action, so you can run a diagnostic straight from your code and automatic metrics retrieval. So we override, we orchestrate the whole code, and we have interaction with everything. And so, okay, this is about purely the product we deliver. I just wanted to show you some metrics that are pretty interesting because, so have you understood, there is like 3 products: PM2 runtime, PM2 plus, PM2 enterprise. The PM2 runtime is the origin of our company, and it's a software I built 5 years ago that is now one of the most popular open source projects in Europe. We count more than 24,000 stars on GitHub. So I'm sure some of you already started, and I thank you. And if you haven't, please do. So yeah, I would say like thanks to the whole community that helped me to make this project from an idea to something that is production ready, that is future complete. We had more than 200 contributors, more than 1,500 pull requests, so 24,000 GitHub stars. And every time there is a new feature that has been added to to PM2 every time there are a new test. So there are more than 2,000 end-to-end tests and unit tests that make us sure that what we provide, the new value we provide, respects the previous version of we deployed. And yeah, it's run on 5 Node.js versions, and we support PM2 support Node.js from the version of 0.12. And then in terms of raw metrics, so this is like a dashboard that we use to monitor the nodes in real time of our open source software. So we already count more than 52 million downloads all around the world. We have around 100,000 downloads per day. So that's pretty amazing. You know, it's like servers, and we have that much download every day. And we have also, we need to do some money. That's why we created PM2 Plus to bring more value to enterprise that use Node.js at scale in production. And we have more than 850 customers. So yeah, I'm very proud of this company, PM2, Keymetrics. We are a team of 17 people. We are based in Paris, at Grand Boulevard. And we are very proud to be able to help so many enterprises use Node.js at scale. And basically, if you're already using Node.js, or if you plan to use it, we would love to work with you, basically. So we have this full set of software. We can invite you to our office to show you our different products. We are working toward a lot of new projects to make, like, to be the number one in terms of monitoring and production Node.js. Voilà. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone? Question? Yes, one there.
So I'm working at Algolia, and a lot of the errors we have been monitoring on JavaScript applications are actually today resolved because of a typing system. So on the front end, for instance, we're using TypeScript more and more. What's your vision on typing in Node.js?
Great question. Basically, we don't push first to use TypeScript in the server side. But for some companies that are more used to use Java and typed language, we do trainings on all of the TypeScript things. So if they don't want to lose this typing context, we help them to use it. After, I'm not sure that is very useful at the beginning when you just create a new project for a startup to use TypeScript straight. But at some point, when you scale, when your code base scale, it's very interesting to have TypeScript. For example, we have one of the library of PM2 that we just rewrote in TypeScript because it's like the component that is injected into the Node.js application of our users. And we really wanted to have something very strong, for something working very well. That's why we wrote in TypeScript. So my opinion on TypeScript is pretty positive, and I think it's a great project from Microsoft. And yeah, it's a good practice, clearly.
Yep, question here.
Thanks for the presentation. So PM2 is open source. Which license do you use and why?
So PM2 is open source, exactly, with the IGPL v3 license. So we choose this IGPL v3 license, like MongoDB, because we didn't want it like a competitor, basically, a competitor to take this open source project I created with the community and to adapt it depending on what they provide, to modify their code and to be our code and to be able to deploy it without passing by ourselves. So we put the IGPL v3 license to avoid people taking this technology beside us. And we really wanted also that anyone that contribute, enhance the code of PM2, he must redistribute it to us. So it benefits to our whole community we already have. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, thanks.
After we provide commercial license, industrial license, if you use it on IoT and embedded projects.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. I just have a question about, do you have any metrics about the impact of using PM2 over the CPU or memory in production?
Yeah, it's very low. It's very low. Basically, the transaction tracing is not enabled by default. So the transaction tracing is the feature that creates the most overhead. So for example, like AppDynamic, Dynatrace, Neuralink, soon Datadog will provide a transaction tracing that has a great impact on performance. That's normal because you have to monkey patch the whole code. So there is like an overhead of almost 20%, 10 to 20%. Our choice wasn't to enable by default the transaction tracing because of this overhead. And you can just use it in one process, basically. After, for all the other features that are not transaction tracing, we have a very, very small overhead. We do monkey patch just at the initialization of libraries and just when they do like small calls. So it's basically around like 0.5% overhead.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question? Anyone? Yep.
Thanks for the talk. Do you plan to support more languages?
So we really want, our vision is that Node.js is a great asset for companies right now. So our goal is not to broaden our monitoring system and process management system because we are not only like a monitoring solution. We are both process management and monitoring. And the feature we are currently delivering to our users, like that are very specific to Node.js, like for example, there is this custom action thing that allow you to trigger a function straight from your code. This is like the kind of feature that we cannot re-implement in other languages. But sometimes we have some large companies that ask us for more support of other languages. We can do it. We cannot do it as well as some other does, but at least we can provide some basic metrics. But that's not our goal to market ourselves as an agnostic solution because we really value Node.js and we imagine a great future for this technology.
Any other question? Last questions? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.